Peace. Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta, edited and translated by Mercer Cook. And I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Riley. Welcome, YouTube. Had to meditate a lot. There was so much energy just flowing through. I was working day and night. Yesterday, what a fabulous day that closed off going to the turquoise cloud. And so it was wonderful. The seminar yesterday of the Ear Healing Manual and the Harmonic Vibrational. We did such amazing work. I'm so grateful and thankful to UTLA. Thank you, Monique. And highest heart love. So we pick up in the 5th chapter. This book reading, we're going to take our great time reading and enjoy, right? Truth shall set you free. All right. Page 122. Down at the bottom of this 5th chapter is where we pick up at. Peace, YouTube. My days and nights. All right. Highest heart love. Here we go. This 21st edition of this book reading. If an atom bomb destroyed Paris but left the cemeteries intact, anthropologists opening the graves to determine what the French were like would similarly discover that Paris was inhabited not only by Frenchmen. On the other hand, it would be inconceivable that the corpse buried in the most beautiful tomb, as exceptional as that of Napoleon at the Invalides, were that of a slave or some anonymous individual. Consequently, if one really wanted to do so, the Phoenician race and all other related Negro races to whom humanity owes its its access to civilization could be much more precisely defined. We could even do this by anthropological means, although experience has shown that it is possible to sustain any theory one wishes in this field. Millions are spent on excavating clay mounds in Mesopotamia in the hope of finding evidence to pinpoint with certainty and finality the birthplace of civilization in Western Asia, although those who undertake this have very slim hope of ever attaining their objective. They nonetheless continue, as if the routine had become a permanent habit. In contrast, the exact location of the Phoenician tombs is known. All that is needed is to go and open them for information on the race of the cadaver contained therein. But the chances are great that these will be so definitely Negro as to make denial impossible, so it is better not to touch them. To discover the exact anthropological characteristics of the ancient Phoenicians, it would be necessary to examine the skeletons in the sepulchres of the great Phoenician epic on the very shores where Tyre and Sidon developed their power as commercial centers. Unfortunately, these important documents have not yet been made available to ethnologists. They will certainly be made available someday after systemic research leading to the conversation of or archaeological data and skeletons has been undertaken. That was written in 1924. Since that date, few excavations have been made in the region. Excavations at Ras Shamra were interpreted in 1939. We talked about that earlier. Many documents have been discovered by chance. The most ancient tombs found in Phoenicia, those of Byblos, which probably date back to Ep- um, the Neolithic or the Chalcolithic epoch, were unearthed by Dunning. They reveal a human type that Dr. Valois classifies in Sergei's brown Mediterranean race. Now, that so called brown Mediterranean race is none other than the Negro race. Furthermore, some of the skulls present a deformity found today only among the Mangbitu blacks of the Congo. Mhm. Civilisation Phoenician. Down at the bottom of page 123. Arabia. Peace, YouTube. Welcome. Thank you for being here and reading books with us. Part of book lovers community here, live from the light. So, gratitude. Arabia. According to Lenormand, a Kushite empire originally existed throughout Arabia. This was the epic personified by the Adites of Ad, grandsons of Ham, the biblical ancestor of the blacks. Cheikh, a son of Ad, a builder of the legendary earthly paradise mentioned in the Quran, belongs to the epic called that of the first Adites. This empire was destroyed in the 18th century BCE by an invasion of course white Jectonide tribes who apparently came to settle among the blacks. Before long, however, the Kushite element regained political and cultural control. The first white tribes were completely absorbed by the Kushites. This epic was called that of the Second Adites. That's from Lenormand. These facts, on which even Arab authors agree, prove, as will shortly become more evident, that the Arab race cannot be conceived as anything but a mixture of blacks and whites, a process continuing even today. These same facts also prove that traits common to Black culture and Semitic culture have been borrowed from the Blacks. The reverse is historically false. To attempt to explain the Negro Egyptian re- wood world by the so called Semitic world should be impossible on the basis of no more than a few grammatical similarities, such as base, uh, suffixal conjugations, pronoun suffixes, and T for the feminine. The Semitic world, as we conceive of it today, is too recent to explain Egypt. As we have seen prior to the 18th century BC, only Negro Cushites, in official terminology, were found in the region of Arabia. Infiltrations before the second millennium were relatively insignificant. Egypt conquered the country during the early centuries of the Second Adites under the minority of Thutmose III. Lenormand believes that Arabia is the land of Punt and of Queen Sheba. We should remind the reader that the Bible places Put one of the sons of Ham, in the same country. In the 8th century BCE, the Jectonides, having become strong enough, seized power in the same manner. And during the same period as the Assyrians won control over Babylonians, also Cushites, though they shared the same customs and the same language. The two elements that formed the population of southern Arabia remained quite distinct, with antagonistic interests, just as in the basin of the Euphrates. The Assyrians and Babylonians, the first of whom were likewise Semites, and the second Cushites. That so long as the empire of the second Adiites lasted, the Juctanides were under the Cushites. But a day came when they left and felt strong enough to become masters of their own turn. Led by Uriel, they attacked, or Iadab, they attacked the Adiites and were able to overcome them. This revolution is usually dated at the beginning of the 8th century BCE. Peace. Welcome. Thank you so much for reading with us. It's part of the book lovers community here, live from the light. Gratitude. All right. We're at page 125 of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop, edited and translated by Mercer Cook. So, history, anthropology, gotta love it, right? Thank you so much for being here, reading with us. You know, we're coming up red, black, and green, if you know what I mean. It's always been one of my favorite times. You know, we would always go in the back to Mays Landing, right? It's a place in New Jersey that my family um, ancestors built up. And so all the Mazes and Bennetts would be there, and running around all the children. We would be playing different games. And it was a Juneteenth celebration. This is something that's happening, forever back in 1980s. And this is in South New Jersey. So it's nothing new that we love the truth. We love to be with our family and have that fun, you know. It's a beautiful part of the year. So thank you for reading books with us in this peaceful part of YouTube. I'm Master Fitness Trainer Uriel Navarre Riley. So welcome and thank you for maintaining your peace and shining your light out in the world. That's what we do and encourage on this channel. Yes. They shut up my algorithm. They slowed it all the way down. And someone like me is going to keep going. That's actually even more incentive. And I think it's like um, I look at it as definitely a tribute to greatness, right? That's how I look at it. The truth. Lenormand reports that after the Jectonide victory, some of the Adiites crossed the Red Sea at Bab el Mandeb to settle in Ethiopia, while the others remained in Arabia. Mhm. Taking refuge in the mountains of Hadramaut and elsewhere. This is the source of the Arab proverb, as divided as the Sabaeans, and why southern Arabia and Ethiopia became inseparable linguistically and ethnographically long before the discovery of the Hymeritic language and inscriptions. It had been noted that Gez, the Abyssinian language, is a living remnant of a ancient language of Yemen. Such were the relations between those two regions. But we are a long way from any notion of migration by a civilizing white race during the prehistoric period through Bab el Mandeb or any other place. We can see how inadmissible are the German linguistic theories which rest on such an assumption. Equally inadmissible are theories that take the same assumption, apart, to explain the origin of Egyptian writing, whose essential symbols in reality represent the flora and fauna of the African interior, particularly Nubia, not Lower Egypt. Kapart supposes that a hypothetical white Semitic race came from the African interior via Bab el Mandeb, stayed there a long time, and taught the natives to write. From what has been said above, it follows that no historical fact supports that theory. The known migrations occurring in the region are much later than the dawn of Egyptian civilization and the invention of hieroglyphic writing. But since the objective is always the same, it is always a question by whatever means of attributing the slightest phenomenon to of civilization in Black Africa to some white race, even a mythical white race. A mathematical process is utilized. Extraploitation. From the fact that the recent migration of Negro Adites, 8th century BCE, took place in this area, one assumes that there must have been Semitic migrations there, even though we have no trace of any. The working hypothesis is transformed into a reality, and the riddle is solved. This is how it is possible to explain Egyptian civilization by pure abstractions which have nothing to do with historical facts. Thus, are the trusting but uninitiated deceived? We'll pause right here. Fine days and nights. Happy Friday. Yes. Woo! Shut it down. Shut it down. I wish you had wonderful, magical, just like mine yesterday. So magical. So we went through the harmonic vibrational little bit where we really spent a lot of time on the pressure points of the hands and feet and going through how to drain the lymph drainage area. We want to make sure that that flow is always happening. So that's one of the key parts it's going through is unblocking blockages in the lymphatic area, as well as, just the hands and feet, period. Because what you want to do is you want to get those little crunchy areas out. And so I take my knuckles and I was showing them how to get them out, as well as, breathing and stretching. So we go through all those sections and you have a large cocktail medicine of healing medicine for the self. And so that's what I teach. And I've been teaching now almost 20 years. Highest heart love and honor. Thank you. Love to all the light workers. We're shaking it up on YouTube, reading books. Let's have a glass of love water in honor of our friends and family. You know, we have so much going on. We want to make sure we continue to pray for them because when we pray, That's a form of protection, right? Yeah, spiritual protection for our family and friends. Highest heart love. We love you. Last loved one, I love you. Mm. Ah, amazing. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for reading with us and being in this peaceful part of YouTube. Much honor. Oh, I was on set all AM. That was fun. That was a great job. So, like I said, you can work and putting in the work, outwork any of that nonsense out there. And that's why we bring it in here, the peaceful place, and you can just breathe. I hear the crows. Let that light shine in. And give yourself, here's a gem, major gem. Give yourself in wherever you are, wherever you live, right? Give yourself a place you go and you can go to. Nice, calm, chill place where there's sunlight maybe coming in at, right? It's very clean and use it as a charge up station. Gee, I give myself a charging station. I have a certain location located in the house where I put a perfectly clean white mat down before I can put my feet on it. I have something of love around me, a glass of love water maybe, or a bottle, and I'm just breathing and sitting there. And it has beautiful colors, has an array of colors, because you want to let the light come on in. And then I'll actually focus on those colors. It only takes 10 minutes, and you scan through your entire body while you're charging up. See, it's a mental thing. Soul controller of yourself. You can say, I need to go to my charging spot. I can sit and write in my charging spot, right? My my daily journal or a poem, a letter to someone. But make yourself in your lovely palace, creating your world. Make yourself your own charging pad, charging place. Do so much justice. You meditate there, and also bring in different manifestations and begin to focus the energy, right? Focus energy vibrates highs. I love you. Thank you so much for being here and reading with us. I'll see you on the next reading where we pick up in this 5th chapter of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta. Much love. Thank you so much for being here. Ay, 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 ay. Love, love, love you. Ay, 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 ay. Love, 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 love you. You know, because I love myself. Highest heart love. Have a wonderful, wonderful Friday.